Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Mob Psycho 100 Season 3. It has been a while. I mean, no joke, it's been a while. That was 7 years ago. Look at that child. Look at that boy. I was in my, early 20s. What the fuck? It's been so long. It's been the better part of a decade since I watched Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. And so, to be totally honest, I spent the last week or so being like, I don't think I really remember that much. So, yesterday, I spent a good chunk of time and I watched the whole back half of the season. The whole ending of the Claw arc and the conclusion of all of those things and the emergence of an enormous broccoli in the middle of Seasoning City. And I finally feel like I'm a little bit caught up, a little bit ready to watch some more. And I'm really, really excited. Going back and revisiting Mob was quite an experience because it's been a long time and there's a lot that I've genuinely forgotten. But what immediately started coming through was the power of the themes, the connections between the characters, and the sheer strength of the writing. All sort of iced or sprinkled with really incredibly stunning animation grounded in this kind of goofy, cartoony style that's totally distinct from everything that I've watched in the last couple of years. There's nothing like it. And so I'm really excited to revisit and expand into something familiar and new and conclude a story that has been ongoing as a piece of the background of my life for well over a decade. Mob Psycho 100, a journey that we get to go on most of together. And while I regret that I didn't ever end up watching season 1 on the channel, I watched it before the channel ever was a glimmer in my eye as an idea. But I'm so glad that with all the time in between, I get to chart and record my own journey, my own sort of change in relation to this really important show. There's something funny about time as a living creature, at least for me. I've heard similar things, so I assume that it's kind of a broad experience, but I don't feel different. I went back and I don't normally do this, but I sort of glanced at a couple of the discussion portions of my videos and I was like, oh, that's the same guy. That's the same dude. Huh, interesting. I don't feel different. I know that I am, but sort of the way when you wake up on your birthday and people go like, "Oh, you feel different?" No, I don't feel fucking different. I feel exactly the same as I did yesterday, and yesterday I felt exactly the same as I did the day before, etc., on into infinity. And so there's this feeling, kind of like a frog in hot water, that I haven't changed at all. I'm still the same person underneath. And yet, looking back, I have to reconcile with the fact that I have changed a lot. I've grown immensely. I'm no longer kind of a kid experimenting with this in my 20s, not sure if this is what I want to do, kind of dedicating myself to this thing out of a hope that it could work. Now I've been doing it for years and I have this backlog of videos that I made that I'm honestly quite proud of, and I'm continuing to do this process of engaging with the art and grow into this appreciation of art and conveyance and communication through this medium that I find so fascinating. This medium that I think is the most potent available to us in modernity. The grand evolution of our narrative forms to me is anime, and I love getting to continue exploring it. And so it's such a strange experience to be a different person than I was and yet be the same person. And now there is the sort of magic of having a time capsule of me from 7 years ago watching the previous season of Mob Psycho 100. And now I get to put a new addition to the time capsule, me finishing off the whole show, watching season 3, concluding Mob's story and the story of one creating this character and writing this manga and building this thing and having it explode into something kind of impossible to expect. And I have changed. A lot has changed, and yet much has not. Much of the core, the foundations of who I see myself as and how I see myself engaging with this art, trying to grow and learn and extract knowledge and information from it, that part's still here. That part's still me. One of the things that I was struck by watching through the back half of season 2, there's this one line that Mob says. He says, "People need other people." And he's saying it, he says similar things a couple of times to different characters, and some of them get through and some of them don't. But he's saying it to characters who've sort of invested themselves in themselves and their own power and their view of self as greater than others, and their view of their own psychic abilities as something that sets them apart and above from other people. But Mob says people need other people. And 7 years ago, when I was recording season 2 of Mob Psycho, I didn't have other people. I had my Patreon, I had my Discord, and that's something, and it was enough to keep me going. But those connections aren't the same as having real connections with real people, real friends. And that's one place where I can point to and nod at Mob's wisdom, say, yes, that is true, and then turn and evaluate my life over the past years and nod and say, I think I've done a good job of achieving that. Because I didn't have friends 7 years ago, and now I have friends. Just today, after I record this, I'm going to have to scramble to do some prep and stuff, because a group of my friends will be coming over to my house to play a game with me, to play D&D, and I'll be DMing. And so we'll be engaging in like a collaborative, creative effort that we've been doing every week for the past months. And there was a bit of a gap, and then for a number of years before that. And the difference is stark. Yeah. Sometimes I forget it and I end up thinking like, oh gosh, I've got this thing that I have to prepare for. What an imposition. But when I look back at how alone I was and how alone I felt many years ago, I can't be anything but grateful to have people around me who want to explore this world together, who want to live a piece of life in harmony and in parallel. And that's something that Mob has found and stated in show as a thematic core is important for being a person. And he's right. So, looking forward into season 3 of Mob Psycho, I'm excited for cool animation. I'm excited for humorous, anecdotal, weird bits and bobs. But I'm most excited to learn something. I'm most excited to meet and revisit a character that I haven't seen except yesterday and rehashing it for years, and to learn what his next steps are. Because his next steps last time were steps that I needed to take. And maybe the same will be true for this next portion. A couple of other things that I'm sort of looking forward to or expecting. I'm expecting extreme goofiness, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm expecting tight thematic writing. Events and characters, especially characters that have meaning, not just to the story beat, but to like the life arc of our characters, to the goals, motivations, and understanding of self, especially within Mob. As I look back on it, I think all of the characters within Mob, or at least the villains, but even the allies and friends, can be viewed as like aspects of Mob, or maybe reflections or foils of Mob, or maybe versions of Mob that could be, or could be similar to how he could be if he goes down path C instead of path A. If he chooses just a little bit of a different direction and gets a little bit more focused on, man, I really am powerful, maybe that does make me better than other people, or many other sorts of thought processes, this is where Mob, with all his power, with all his talent, with all of this great blessing that he views as a great curse in some ways, he could end up there. And by painting all of these reflections, we create a situation where our character has agency, and not just the agency of somebody who's kind of guessing at where they want to go in life, but the agency of somebody who's observing others and learning from them. And through those archetypes and those stories and those figures within his perspective, he's charting a course through his own life, his own complexities. And it's fun because those complexities are so deeply human. Those are the things that he struggles with and the things that he cares about, not psychic battles. Those are honestly kind of easy for him, weirdly. It's the human things, the things that are relevant to all of us. So as we enter this next chapter in the Mob Psycho story, I want to keep an eye out for characters that look like they're foils, characters that seem like they might embody aspects of Mob or maybe aspects of humanity that Mob could potentially become, yeah? And how those will reflect on him and how he will probably choose differently. And likely how he will choose differently with a degree of empathy and compassion that is inspiring. Beyond that, there's something that I don't really have a place to put in this little intro, but I gotta say it. There is something deeply inspiring about the creation story of Mob Psycho 100. Not the in-universe story or any of that, but the creation story of Mob Psycho 100. You might see some weird scribbles up here. I've got a bunch of them. There's a nice stack going on back here, and it's just a fraction of a fraction of a fraction because every video for the last couple of years, I've drawn something at the beginning of the video, and they're a totally mixed bag. Lots of things that I'm disappointed in, generally. Lots of things that end up being really cool in ways that I don't expect. Whatever. But I'm trying to draw. I'm trying to create. I'm trying to convey. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to learn. I can think of nothing more inspiring than looking at the work and success of the mangaka and artist and creator Wang. Because here is a person who is not blessed with psychic abilities, if you will. Some people come out of the womb and they seem to have a piece of charcoal in one hand and a rubber eraser in the other, and they're just ready to draw masterworks of art. Of course, this isn't actually true. Every great artist has put an immense amount of effort into honing their skills. But as somebody sort of starting out and kind of struggling and not having that sort of innate talent or whatever it is, having somebody out there in the world who draws what many people call childish scribbles and yet has turned that creative energy into works that have been converted by greater artists into multiple different mediums that have been expanded upon and inspired other people's creative minds to build upon the thing and build it out into something genuinely spectacular and awe-inspiring to witness. All of that coming from this sort of chicken scratch scribble is a wild source of inspiration for someone whose limitations as an artist are still in that chicken scratch scribble range. It's like a dissolution of any gatekeeping, yeah? There's this set of thoughts that's like, oh, I couldn't ever create something. I'm not good enough. Yeah, well, that guy says that's bullshit. So what's stopping you? And that hurts to hear a little bit, but it's also deeply inspiring. If he can do it, maybe you could too. Maybe I could too. Maybe anyone could create something of value. And maybe not. Maybe one just has a different set of geniuses, but I can't help but be lit aflame inside by the effort and the success. It's amazing. And now we're going to get to witness a really incredible animation studio, Bones, put all of that into motion and bring it all to life. And I'm really excited to see how that looks, especially with my more developed sense of animation and my eye being, I think, a little bit better than it was 7 years ago, and having a couple more processes, the Sakagaburu stuff that we go and look at, and being a little bit more invested in animation and the process of creation. I'm really excited to dive into a dramatically different show than the ones that we've been watching recently and honing those skills a little bit further. Okay, this is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to cut away and do a drawing, and then we will come back to watch Mob Psycho Season 3, Episode 1. Get ready, wake your psyche up, ma. Okay. Oh, shoot. Yeah, alright. I'll take it. That's a little funky. It's a little weird. It's kind of striking. Kind of neat. Kind of neat. Not super happy with the flamey things. Not super happy with the top of the head. Kind of love the like blank white space at the top of the head. Love that. All right. Bow. A solid starting point. We'll see how much I improve over the course of Mob Psycho 100 Season 3. Alright, let's watch this thing. As usual, there will be two versions of this and every future reaction video. There will be a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, and a timer-based version up here on YouTube with the discussion at the end, which I would ask that you come back and watch, because the discussion portion where I actually analyze the thing is kind of the meat of my videos, I think. Early access on the Patreon, it's $1 for 1 week early access to all my shows. A little while ago, I reduced it to $1 to make it as accessible to people as possible, because I recognize that things are freaking expensive. That may have to change at some point in the future because of inflation, but right now I'm able to survive on that dollar from people, and to those people who are throwing me $1 a month and making it so that I can keep making this content, keep engaging with these wonderful works of art, and learning from them and going on my own journey of growth. Thank you so much. I genuinely could not do it without you, and I'm eternally grateful. Let's go ahead and watch episode 1 of season 3, the final season of Mob Psycho 100. I've got it up and ready to go. I have gone and downloaded the DB version, which contains the Blu-rays, and I have set it up so that I am using the official Blu-ray subs at present. I also have the option for Crunchyroll subs. I assume that those are worse than the ones that were released later with the official Blu-rays, but I don't always know. Sometimes these things are a little funky, so if I need to go and seek out a new set of subtitles for Mob Psycho, let me know as soon as possible, and I will switch them as soon as possible. For now, we're going to watch it as though we were watching the Blu-ray, had just pulled it out of its jewel case and slipped it into a Blu-ray player? Do people have those anymore? Slipped it into a Blu-ray player and popped it up on the screen, so you're here along with me for that viewing experience. Hopefully this is the best quality version of Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 available. If it's not, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to get back to Seasoning City. I'm excited to find out where everybody is staying. I assume that we're going to be picking up right after the events of the previous one, because the manga itself doesn't have seasons. It doesn't work like that. So I assume we're going to be picking right back up with, I forget where Mob is staying. Some people are staying with Reagan. Some people are staying with the Body Improvement Club. People are staying in a bunch of different places. And there's an enormous broccoli in the middle of the city. Where are we going to go from here? Only one can tell. Let's go ahead and find out. Two versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, early access on Patreon, beep beep timer to count you down. Let's go. I do believe. I do believe. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, big blue guy would definitely send me into the depths of fear. Mm-hmm. OP? Yeah, that's an OP. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. I might have to turn it back down in post, but I want to be able to hear this. Big broccoli. He got his hair back. Is this gonna break down? It's really understated. Oh, break it down. Whoa, that's weird. Ooh. This is way more chaotic. I know that the first is really chaotic, but the first, not the first, the second for season 2, it's really chaotic, but everything feels cohesive. It feels like it's all gelling to. Whoa. Just gonna shut up for that end sequence. Ah. They're the occult research something something? Of course you do. Cool. Okay. He's higher ranked than all of them. Is who's Takane-san? Is that's not Tsubomi, right? Oh, it is. It definitely is. Yuzu Pepper. Uh-huh. Yeah, but Mob wants to be in that league. He'd like to be in that league. They're always vegetables. Oh, she's rank 4. I wonder who's above her. But then I lose my Tsubomi. Yeah, yeah. Just a few percent. What did you write down, Reagan? Do you? Oh. It's gonna be about purpose. That's what this season's gonna be about, isn't it? Because we always hit it immediately. Oh, wait, don't we have Serizawa? Yeah, what did you want to do? You just fell into it, right? Yeah. The powers of manipulation and persuasion. That's not Serizawa. Wait, is it? He did get a haircut. Oh, wait, it is. I think it is. It is! What do we got? We got a lost cat. We got spooky. What? Hmm. 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 Ah, there's something real about it. Ha. Huh. Yeah, let's get you out of here so you don't see that Mob is the one who actually does it. Uh-huh. What else was he supposed to do? Yes. Oh. Testa! You're a failure, Sarazawa. Yeah, you'd better shape up for next time. Okay, then. Good job, Sarazawa. Yarimashita! He hit him with the san. Atta! No, 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 no. Is he gonna glue it together with mayo? With rice. The animation for no reason. I love these freeze frames. It's so goofy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's pressure. There's pressure to have a goal, though. And some people always feel like they have it figured out. Oh, he's number 5. He doesn't want to use his powers for stuff. He wants to be like, I don't know. Become a personal trainer, Mob. There's this tension between keeping doors open and having something chosen. Yeah? I think this is our core theme being established. Hmm. Everybody's got it figured out. He needs to find somebody who's not certain and who's okay with it. Whoa, number 2? What? Guy is a genius. Guy is the opposite of a genius. Wait, who's 352 under him? Wait, didn't one of the previous ones say out of 350? How is he 351 out of 352 when there were only... Okay. Yeah. Hello, broccoli tree. Oh, hello, photography. And also believes Mob is special, right? You're involved. Wait, that's yesterday? uh. 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 We didn't really have it. No. Nah. Crazy. Oh. Oh, that could be weird. Oh, that could be really weird. Maybe you're calling his cult leader. Talk about purpose. That's what he's focused on, man. Cool. I don't know about bigger than that giant broccoli, though. That's pretty big. That's brutal. Forced isolation and asceticism. This is a familiar voice. I think this guy's just... This guy's just gross. Wow. What a character. Hmm. 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 Right. The evil spirit. Evil spirits work, obviously. Oh. That's... That's a... That's a companion, right? I think you're just getting old and you're an ugly slob and you live badly and are a bit of a pervert. Oh? Oh. Hey, Mom, do you actually sense anything fucking crazy in here? Hey! No, never had any. He was born in a midlife crisis. Cleaning supplies, bleach, just one after another. Maybe you should get rid of the evil spirit, bro. Wow, he was born in a midlife crisis. Oh, he works as a foil too. He's purposeless. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, poor me. He's our example. He's our harbinger of what happens if you just... What is happening with the smoke? Okay, there is an actual evil spirit going on here. That's fucking bad. Melissa. Oh, it totally reminds me of something out of Pretty Cure. It's straight out of Pretty Cure, which is so silly, but I'll talk about it later. Oshimaeda! Now, will it affect Reagan? That's bad. Ugh. Cool style with all the line work. Wow. Just rest. Just chill. Fight Reagan! A secret special attack where... Tell me. And it works? We're just listening to him. I don't know what the difference is, but... Fix it! Oh, my powers are too strong, I can't use them here. Oh, there's that track. I'm so glad that it's still here. I'm so glad. Okay, so how will that affect my guy who's... Oh, it felt so enclosed, huh? Oh, he's got a smile! He's got a shiny head! My guy's got it made. Hey, we did good. Okay, good. Mmm. Yeah, the impact is being felt. It's worry. It's like, what if I make the mistake? All the paths. But then you see what happens to somebody who doesn't choose a path, who just goes with the flow. Right? Yeah, you'll be fine. I'm just screwed. But me, I'm totally boned. 18%. End? No, okay. How much episode do we have left? Okay, a couple of minutes. Mm-hmm. Don't say something really fuck. Lines like that just destroy people, man. He's just gonna go with whatever's put in front of him. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought he might kind of explode about that, but Reagan, when it matters, man. I won't grow. Good for you, Mob. He wanted to. You'll find things that you want to do. But then you showed up and changed everything. I was about to say, but that's really scary. But I guess that was excitement, not fear, huh? Are we gonna get some kind of hint at where we're going? We are gonna get a hint. Oh shit, it's the tree. Hi, Dimple. Hey? I can't watch this. Bonk. Hey. Hey, there goes episode 1 of season 3 of Mob Psycho 100. This felt easy to get back into. Of course, that's just because I watched a bunch of the previous season yesterday, but this felt easy to get back into, like a slow on ramp into things. We get the sort of cursed spirits and stuff in the beginning that reestablishes the frame of everything. Psychics, spirits, done. And then I think the episode does a really good job of feeling like sort of everyday slice of life experience, just going through our daily lives. But right under the surface of that, it's almost laser focused on a thematic element. And this follows up from last season where we sort of hit these ideas or hit the core ideas of the season right away from moment one regarding like independence, individual agency, and where that tips over the edge into like selfishness, will to dominate others, and viewing yourself as better than because of your innate talents. That was like fundamental themes of the season, right? Every character, every core conflict was built in that direction. What is our question here? What is our theme that gets established in the first minute? I mean, it's actually the first frame of the season. Career path survey. This is tight. This is like smart writing. So simple. From frame one, we set up a core theme, purpose, direction, path forward. What are you going to choose to do? What are you going to step out into the void of emptiness of possibility and say, this direction, I'm going this way? And in doing so, what doors are you willing to close? What opportunities are you willing to sacrifice, to give up access to? Because you only have one life to live. You only have 24 hours in your day, and only so much of that can be spent on certain things. You only have one thing that you can be doing. And maybe you could be doing a bunch of things, you know, a couple hours on this and a couple hours on that and a couple other things. But even then you're choosing, my life will be one that's not dedicated to one thing, that's dedicated to doing a bunch of things, and that's a choice in and of itself. From there, the episode shows us a bunch of characters who know exactly where they're going, sets up this sort of tension and fear within Mob that's like, well, if I don't find out where I'm going, something bad might happen to me, and then shows us exactly what that looks like with a character who never decided where they were going and ended up somewhere they didn't want to be, with no hope internally of going somewhere else. So we get this conundrum, this terrible problem. If I choose something, I'm sacrificing all the other things, and I'm locking myself into a path that might not work. But if I don't choose anything, that's a choice that's being made for me by time anyway. I'll blink and I'll be 30, and then I'll blink again and I'll be 50, and I won't have anything to show for it. So what do I do? Well, you'd better choose carefully. But we have a bunch of different sort of varied answers presented by different characters from their own perspectives over the course of the episode. And I fully expect that we will be introduced to new ones as we move forward, and that they will have distinct contrasts with the conclusions that Mob is beginning to come to and eventually turn into conflict in that direction. I'm really excited by that because I think it makes a lot of sense. You get your like internal identity squared away, you get your relation with others, the family unit group of friends squared away, and that was a core piece of the last portion. And then, after deciding that you're not the dominator of the world, that's not how you want to use your capacity to change things, where do you go from there? Well, you've got to find out what you are here for, right? So, let's engage with that, and let's engage with it sincerely and wholeheartedly. And that is exactly what one is going to do here, is we are going to dissect the problem of what do you do with your life to live a fulfilled life. And I think that that's a pretty darn relevant question, given that I am a living person trying to figure out what to do with my life. Nice. Nice. A true universal being explored in specific through the lens of a character who's relatable to all of us. Primo. You've explored and discovered your talents, some of them, right? You've figured out a couple of ways that you don't want to apply them to the world because they cause harm and evil and stuff. But then there's a whole swath of open void that you are asked to step into and pressured from all directions to step into. And people will say stuff like, oh, it's fine, you've got so much time, you don't have to figure it out now. But you do actually, and the people around you are figuring it out actually. And when you're in high school and you talk to somebody and you're like, yeah, I don't really know what I want to do with their life. And they're like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. It's what I'm gonna do. I've known this since I was 6. And whether that's been instilled by their parents or something that they came up with on their own, it's like, oh shit, I'm behind the curve because I haven't even decided to point myself in that direction. This kid's already doing extracurricular activities at 8 that lead to putting better stuff on their med school application. Like, I'm fucked. But you're not. You're not. You're just on a different path. But it can really feel like you're behind and that you'll never be able to catch up. That once you're off the track, especially with formal education, there's no going back, right? Even though that's fundamentally not true. People go back to college, get new degrees all the time. But it's true that there is some difficulty to it. It's not the easy way. It's not the normative path. And I'll say, as like an add-on, as somebody who lives a non-normative life, I live a very strange life compared to a lot of the people around me. I am entirely self-determined in my work. There is not a person that I go to for a paycheck, and it could all fall apart. I have no stability, right? Like no guarantee except my own drive to keep doing the thing and my hope and belief that it's possible, right? But I live a very non-normative life, and there is a lot of pressure in the world to not do that, to buckle down, get a job that has benefits and pays for health insurance and get a little bit of security, and fair enough. But I'm familiar with this kind of pressure, this kind of like, nah, you gotta do the same thing as everybody else, man, or at least have a choice that other people will nod and understand. I mean, it's a really distinct experience of sitting in a group of people and people being like, oh, what do you do for a living? And people are like, oh, I'm a bookkeeper. I'm an accountant. Oh, I'm a computer programmer. And I'm like, yeah, I've got a computer science degree, but I watch anime and post long form discussion and analysis of it, trying to grow myself as a human and share the process with other people across the globe. And I find that there's incredible value with engaging with this otherworldly art form from literally halfway across the world, where layers and layers of creative talent come together to make a moving picture with voice acting and music and all of these things, to express important stories to children and adults. I love that shit, but it doesn't come across the same way as like, oh, I'm a car salesman. It just doesn't fit. It's not a box that you can fit in, right? Man. Oh, you still haven't filled yours out? Aha, and everybody's got their options. Man, it's laser focused. It's like laser. Right on. And pulling up the ranks of students as well, it frames it all, right? It's all framed around the process, the educational system, the rankings, the measurements, the analyses, and it sort of bleeds any human element, any what you want to do, any compulsion or vocation, kind of bleeds a lot of that out of it, yeah? Wow, you're all really thinking about this. And then we bring up your girl is going to a top school. The Yuzu High? She's way above us, all the way up on the top of this vaulting horse, right? There's Tsubomi-chan going to the top school in the prefecture, just clearly in a different league. He takes this as, I mean, she's amazing, yay, but it also creates a deep separation between them, and it leads to a couple percent. Ah, wow. So then we apply the same thing to a bunch of other characters. We bring it over to Reagan, and he gives us this sort of, well, then, you know, where it will become much more sincere a little bit later. But no worries, you know where you're going. You're coming here. Well, was this your plan, Reagan? No, of course not. So why'd you decide? And he tells him a lie. I had these unique powers. I'd achieved everything I could at my old job, so I was looking for a new challenge. Wow. It's like exactly the kind of thing that people say when they get let go because they're just not good at the thing. Is they're like, I explored everything that I could in this space and decided to move on to greener pastures. It's bullshit, right? But it's a way of saving face and sort of safeguarding your ego, which is very Reagan. And Serizawa, who's a lot like us in that he was a hiki for a while, right? He was locked up in that room, afraid of his own power, afraid of hurting somebody. And that's something that I can really relate to, is like having a sense that you could cause harm. Just like, gosh, how do I even put this? Like, I have no desire to cause harm to people, but I do have a piece of me that worries, well, if I were to set out to build a business, would I end up exploiting people the way that most of the businesses I see end up exploiting people? If I were to set out to create this or that, would I end up caught in the same traps that I see other people who head down those paths be caught in? And for a portion of my time, that attitude, that sort of fear of what I could caused me to withdraw and try to avoid engaging because of truly the fear of getting hurt and of hurting in return. The fear of gaining power and being corrupted by it. The fear of gaining wealth and being corrupted by it. Which is kind of ass backward, right? Because at core, the reason that I'm afraid of those things is because I'm so diametrically opposed to them. And I think that somebody with that kind of opposition could go and engage in those things, could go and pursue and accumulate a little bit of wealth, a little bit of power, and try to use it for good and maybe succeed a little bit. But I understand that, like, man, I can't. I'll hurt people if I go out there and really do things. And so now we're one step past that after just a couple conversations convincing Serizawa to join us at the end game of the last battle. Here he is trying his best. But he's got a lot of fear and a lot of purposelessness too. It's good to have him around for this. So we have a client, right? And you'll watch me and we've got the younger thing. Spooky doll! Gosh, the pricing. I thought it was going to be nothing. I thought it was just going to be a dud. But instead, no, there's a deep-seated grudge. I was just... This is very funny from Reagan, I think. I'll let it slide. Do you want a second chance? pop, and it's gone. Good job, Serizawa. Rice is great glue. For a long time, I definitely in Japan, I think in China as well, maybe some other cultures, soaked rice has been used as glue. It's really good glue. I do want to see this cut. It's really silly, but just the portion with the, yeah, this. Huh. I thought that there was, oh, okay, there is. I thought there was more like shadow work, but there is. It just is only when it comes up closer. That's cool. Big bang! I miss Reagan's special moves and these silly freeze frames. They're really fun. It's fun to be watching Ashita no Joe, where we could say that they kind of developed. Like, we could say that this idea, the sort of postcard memory freeze frame thing comes from there, and seeing it in such sincerity there and in such goofiness here is quite a trip. Okay, so now we talk to parents. We've got this idea. You need to figure out your career studies. And then the rest of the episode is applying that to different people. It's apply to friend group at the little club, apply to Reagan and Serizawa, apply to parents, probably going to apply it to his brother. Although we had him pop up for a second, but I expect more on that front. And then apply to dude in house garbage man. And then I wonder how we'll apply it to the broccoli shit. Well, I mean, they may call him to be their fearless leader. He's their psycho helmet, right? I don't know. Don't worry, you've got almost 10 years before you graduate. But I don't even know what to do for high school. Okay, here's Ritsu. If you can't think of it, just find a job where you can use what you already excel at, like being a magician. But that's the opposite of what Mob wants. Mob wants something that inspires him and isn't just what he can already do. That's part of why he wants to leave Reagan's shop, is like he wants to grow. He doesn't want to stay here not changing, just time passing by. Dimple's got a good attitude. You can write whatever you want at this point. Your career path can change all at once later, but Mob has the accurate fear related to that is like, I can't do that. This is my future, and all these other people have paths. It feels like I'm missing something if I don't have a path set out for myself. So what are you gonna do, Dimple? And then he had his cult leader portion, right? The laughing stuff. Everybody else has it. Other friends over here. Track and field sports recommendation to high school. Farmer. Job working out. Veterinarian. He's number 2. The hell, man? Okay, I just want to check something. 319 out of 352, 2 out of 350. Are they different years? They must be different years. He's gonna be a manga artist. That's cool, Onigawara. A co-ed high school with a manga club. Everyone's got a pretty good idea about their futures already. And she's focused on him. She believes that he was involved. We saw her there and being like, I know Bob Kubin is involved. I love the image that she has of him as like a badass movie star with scars and raps and shredded jacket and stuff. I already know you had something to do with it. People are worshiping it. The psycho helmet religion. This is going to be important. There's no reason we would be bringing it up right now if it wasn't going to be important. I wonder what it's gonna be. I wonder if they're just gonna try to make him their leader, right? Try to force this position upon him of you're our leader. New followers welcome. A divine being. This might be the biggest thing to happen in my life. So what are you gonna do? I'm gonna be a photographer. Well, that's cool. I don't know about bigger things. Okay, so this feels like something important. It's not all about fancy words or how big something may look. What else is there? Well, for me, when I joined the Body Improvement Club, how is that a huge deal? It's not that different from what you're saying. That thing's a broccoli. I'm missing something in the lines here. There's something between the lines. Basically, my question is, what does Mob mean that he got out of joining the Body Improvement Club? There will be bigger things in your life. Like for me, joining the Body Improvement Club was a big thing in my life. Why? I have my theories about why. I want Mob to articulate why. I want to hear from his mouth why that mattered to him, because that's core evidence, and like it builds up a theory of what other things might matter to him, like what actually matters. Something about joining the Body Improvement Club did. Why? If we can answer that, we can find other things that fit that box too. But the rest of the conversation kind of takes a left turn, and I'm not really sure about that thing's a broccoli portion, you know? Like, obviously it is a broccoli. Why does that matter in this conversation? I don't fucking know. Then the brutal line, I was afraid you'd gained enlightenment because you're so unpopular. Ow. Ouchie. So then do we jump straight to the house? We're straight to the house. This is tight. Spend a bunch of time making it feel as gross as possible, and then the character himself is so slow, and he's like one-shotting cigarettes in a single puff. Woof, what a guy. It builds up a great sort of bait and switch impression, which is, this guy doesn't have a cursed spirit. He's just a loser. He's just a super loser. He is the cursed spirit. But no, he does have a cursed spirit. So maybe I shouldn't judge so quickly or so harshly. But at the same time, I don't know, man. The cursed spirit that he has, the evil thing that's there is his own attitude, right? We externalize it from him so that it's exercisable, but it's his own attitude of like, oh, just give up, just rest another day, right? Just sleep another day away. It's too hard. You can do it later. Don't do a thing. Don't strive. Don't strive. Don't strive. Don't push. Fair enough. I mean, that's the antithesis of any path chosen, right? Any motivation, including like an uncertain life where you go out there into the world and experience what you experience. That requires some doing as well. The opposite is withdrawing. The opposite is staying inside and giving in. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely something here. Roaches! He goes through like a full pack of cigarettes while we're here. I brush my teeth all the time and yet still manage to get cavities. All of it feels like he's just lying. That's the impression that I got, is like, what bullshit. These are the kinds of things that somebody says when they've destroyed their own life and are trying to blame that on anything else but them and trying to avoid agency completely. And yet the story says, no, there is an evil spirit here. Even the false accusations and stuff. We see all our characters like wiggling and getting kind of nervous about this and like kind of funky, like, oh, I'm not believing this guy, man. I don't know. Like, it all lines up, right? It's my legacy! Just seems like a horrifying hoarder. Damn, dude. The Miata on the beach road with the leather jacket and the two earrings. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay. Literally born with a midlife crisis. Will it just be over? Am I doomed to just repeat my meaningless days? My parents died, my relatives cut ties, no acquaintances, no job. So we set out these like environmental factors that have driven this person in this direction. They're very understandable. But it just keeps sinking. There's no hitting bottom and deciding or wanting to bounce up out of it. There's no climbing. Yeah? And I want to be clear that I'm not trying to put shade on this guy. It's fucking hard when your life is in shambles to find the motivation to take a shower or like get out of bed or do anything especially when it feels hopeless. But I think we are capable of hitting bottom, and we're capable of finding something alive in ourselves in our despair. And it takes something internal, and I'm not sure how it's catalyzed, but it's been catalyzed in me before. But it takes something internal to want to get out of that. I think if you want to get out of that, you can. I think if you don't, and the voices that come up when you think, maybe I should fix this, maybe I should change this, or, well, maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll just rest another day, maybe I'll just not for now. Maybe that's a lot of work. Maybe let's not work. You know? Then all that energy just sort of dissipates. It gets caught up in these loops of like pain reduction, right? Avoidance. Play games or watch shows or do something to distract you from the emptiness. Because every time you evaluate and you see the emptiness, you see that there are paths out, and then those all get closed down, so it's like a loss of hope all over again. So can't deal with that. Let's just dispense with the hope completely, and then we never have to go up and down. We just stay down, and then things are at least level. Sucks, man. Wait, is my life already over? And Serizawa understands exactly. And Mob understands too what's going to happen to me if I can't decide a career path and it spreads. So, Mob, through his actions, has had an impact on the people around him. Reagan, through his actions, has had a dramatic impact on the people around him. Now we see it happening the other way. The other way, this sort of downer mentality is spreading. And then, ephemerally and spiritually, spreads broadly across the whole of the city, yeah? I've had 50 years! 50 years! And then he says something that's kind of interesting. At least to me. But all I've got left is this house that my parents left me. Ugh! A thing that people strive their entire lives to achieve, but in having it, he doesn't see it as of any value at all. It's all I have. I have nothing to call my own, except stability and a place to live and safety and security. The base foundations from which I could go and do literally whatever I want. Right? Without fear of becoming homeless, seemingly without fear of starving, could literally do whatever I want. When you're past the starting line, you've got a great foundation to go off of, but he can't see it that way. He sees it as emptiness, as nothing. All I've got left. I have nothing I can truly call my own. Ain't that the truth? Now, he can call the house his own, but my mind goes somewhere else. It asks, is this man's life his own? Is it his? Is he in control of it? Does he have the ability to, like, be proud of what he's accomplished within it, or despair at what he's not? Well, he can despair at what he's not accomplished. But outside of that, no, this isn't his life. Right? He's separated himself from it, said, I'm not going to touch that. I might mess it up. That life is over there. I'm in here. I'm not going to live that thing. Every time a choice comes up, I'm going to choose not to choose. I think it makes it not his life. That's true tragedy. That's worth being afraid of. That's worth being afraid of. You know, there's this popular, I guess, whether it's a meme or a joke, I'm not really sure, or just an idea. The idea being that sort of one definition of hell or something like it, the punishment after death, is that you get to meet the person that you could have been, or you get to see the lives that you could have led, and through the contrast, see how terribly you've failed to achieve your potential. Yeah, that's true tragedy. To live a life without ever actually living it, without ever actually choosing to do something risky, interesting, difficult, unique. Those are the things most worth doing, I think. I went with the flow and kept choosing the easy way out. If only I had chosen the right path. I guess your life really does end after one mistake. First off, no, it fucking doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Second, we've had some thematic elements that have flown in directly against this. Mob reaching out with compassion in the last moments where everyone else has given up on somebody for being evil and a monster, Mob still tries to empathize, still tries to get through, and sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes Serizawa is your new best friend. Your life doesn't end after one mistake, it can be changed. And then it spreads. The smoky, swirly stuff is fucking crazy. You don't need to try so hard. I'm sluggish, I'm tired, let's just go to bed. You don't need to work so hard. Look at those sketchy line things, that's fucking crazy. Just go to bed. So we get a special attack. Evil spirits for evil spirits by evil spirits. Just locked into a weird thing. Oh, okay, let's deal with this. So they go in for it. Kapow! And he's gone. And the house is bright and open. And he's smiling and happy and still kind of gross. I think I'll be able to live the rest of my life in a positive way. Okay, cool. At least there's insurance. Somebody's hammering on something outside. Hopefully not too much more. That hit too close to home. I've lived 30 years and I've got nothing. Maybe. And then we jump over immediately to Mob. Right, Mob? Oh no, it hit too close for me too. And his is a little bit different. I haven't made a huge mistake yet. But I just witnessed somebody who believed wholeheartedly that their whole life ended after making one mistake. What if I'm about to make the one mistake that ends my life? Ah! That's a paralyzing fear. It can really lock you in. Because what if you take a step forward and all the other doors close and it was the wrong step? Yeah! It's not like I can change my major. Oh wait, you can. And also, like, a significant percentage of people who get degrees in one field end up working in a totally different field. The math kind of doesn't lie on things like this. People change their career paths. I think it's like an average of 7 times over the course of their lives nowadays. You're not stuck. You're not locked in. Unless you spend like 8 years going to med school. Then you're kind of locked in, right? Because you got the debt to pay off at least. But outside of like real lock-in sort of things, where you dedicate a huge amount of time and energy to one particular certification or whatever, you can reinvent yourself every 5 years. You can just go out there and start a different business. You can just go and get another degree or a different degree. There's really not much stopping you, with one exception, and that's time. And on that front, it's fair. You only have so much, and you will waste it as soon as you make any choice that isn't the right choice. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with keeping your life path open enough to engage with whatever comes your way and to explore and to journey, but closed enough, like focused enough that you don't end up expending all your energy just deciding whether to do something, that you don't just lose touch with reality for fear of engaging with it? I don't know how you navigate that. I'm in process. It's I'm living my life, right? I'm doing it as well as I can, but I definitely do also struggle with these kinds of ideas. Am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? Am I going to be doing it this way? Is there something tangential to it or related that I should be doing as well? Am I doing enough? Will the things that I'm doing now make me a more fulfilled person 5 years from now? These are hard questions. It's kind of amazing that Mob is engaging with these hard questions. And we get this great image of all these paths diverging out from him. Thinking about that makes me scared which path to choose. You're seriously thinking all of that? And then you realize it's about the career path thing. Don't worry, Serizawa, you'll be alright. But me? Blink, blink. 18%. I don't know. So he says he'll go on to high school, but he doesn't really have a reason to. It's just the next step that you can take without really choosing something, right? And so he's still on that frightening little path. And this guy says something good, I think. Although, if you have some kind of goal for your future, it makes it easier to plan out your life. This is true. This is directly true. I think about this, I'm going to make a weird analogy, but I think about this like throwing. It's weird. If you tried to put maximal force into your fingertip, maximal force, however you were going to do it, how would you do that? To put the most like speed and energy and strength into your fingertip. How would you accomplish that? Kind of hard to like come up with the how. Maybe rah, maybe rah, maybe whatever, right? But I give you a golf ball and I say throw this as hard as you can that way. Maybe with 1 or 2 tries, you will be able to put a not insignificant portion of your body's momentum and force into that ball. You will, if you've ever thrown anything, you'll do a little hop skip with your legs, hop, hop, and then you'll land your weight on your front leg and plant, and then you'll whip your whole body, hips, shoulders, elbow, flick through the finger, and you will put as much power as you can possibly put basically into your fingertip. The object is what you're built around. And I mean what we're built around. We are built to be throwers. It is wired into our nervous systems. You put a rock in a person's hand and you say, throw this as far as you can that way. And they have built into them the systems that make that happen. They organized the whole of the physicality around a single line. And that's really what you're doing. You're creating all of these like directional momentums and angular momentums and lining them all up into and around and twisting them around because you're sort of spinning as you do and you're spinning around this way and converting them all into a single line that this object travels down. When it comes to your life or your personhood or your goals, we are very much the same way. Consciously trying to come up with all the pieces that you would need to organize your life into some unknown direction, maximum force in my fingertip, it's pretty hard. But if you have something, your life, and you're throwing it in a direction that way, you can organize everything else around that. In the same way that to consciously make your ankles turn and your foot plant and your hips shift and your weight goes forward and your shoulders catch and it all whips through and creates this amazing process of hurtling an object forward, all of those strengths, all of those capacities organized like a pyramid of different pieces all stacked up on top of each other from your foundations all the way into that very tippy top fingertip that flings the thing off into the future. Your life can be very much the same way, and having a specific goal and a line that you're pointing down can enable you to organize all the things under that. Because now you've got this goal of like, I'm going to become a veterinarian. And it's like, well, I better wake up at 5 a.m. to start making sure that my physicality is on point so that I don't die. So that I don't die when I'm stressed about exams. And I better start getting a consistent studying routine done. I better get my sleep organized, because if I don't have my sleep organized, I'm going to die. I'm going to fall apart during exams. So all these other pieces start to fit into place because they have to in order for you to effectively throw yourself in that direction. And the same goes for organizing yourself to push against a heavy object or to throw something. And we are built to do that. We're built to organize toward a principle, to organize toward a specific goal. And it does make it easier to plan out your life, but it also makes it easy to waste a bunch of effort and energy if you're pointing that rock in a direction that's wrong for you, right? If you're pointing your life in a direction that fundamentally isn't going to take you to where you want to be, you can waste a lot of time and energy if you choose the wrong thing. And that's the fear, right? The sort of opportunity cost situation that we have to live with because we only have one life to live. There's no need to hurry, but if you don't find something in your teens, you may struggle later. Gosh, more pressure, huh? So he throws out the relaxing trips, and Mob takes that as his, Traveler would be good too. And Mob ends the episode by telling Reagan that he doesn't think he's going to end up working at the Spirits and Consultation Art office. This isn't where I'm headed. There's a little shock from it, but Reagan is not offended, not angry. He's glad. He wants Mob to be fulfilled, right? He wants him to actualize. He wants him to be a whole person. Just such a fun difference from where Reagan started, you know? But if I get too comfortable here, the only thing that will change will be my age. Can't have that. You'll eventually find plenty of things you want to do. And Reagan expresses to him that I opened this office on a whim and didn't know where it was going. And then look where it's gone. It went an unexpected direction. Sometimes leaving uncertainty and going with the flow a little bit can help you find a path that you wouldn't have landed on otherwise. They're like secret paths, yeah? Because the institutions and systems of our world will tell you a bunch of really well-structured paths, but those aren't the only paths. You can make one up. You can make your own. This is life. That's a void. It's endless. Go where you want. Go where you want. So we see that Reagan was influenced so deeply by Mob's arrival here that it catalyzed this into being his path when it wasn't before, when it was just an experiment, yeah? I can relate. As somebody doing something weird and non-traditional, I can sure as hell relate. And after some twists and turns, here we are. It was just on a whim, but now this is what I want to do. That's powerful. So whatever you want to do, it doesn't have to be work. You should just live however you want to. Brilliant. So we leave off there with something funky with the big tree and Dimple hanging out. And we'll pick up there next time for episode 2 of season 3 of Mob Psycho 100. I gotta go look at the OP. I forgot to go look at the OP. Holy shit. Gotta go look at the OP. Probably should check Sakugaburu as well. The OP's such a trip. I might not even get much from it. The scene where we swap his eyes with everybody felt really cool. I can't play the song. I really look forward to hearing it all in fullness. Flowers. Some really cool scenes. Some striking, just like slow-mo visual sort of things. And then some crazy effects stuff. And then a bunch of fun, cut-together sort of filmic, collage-y, montage-y things. And then this incredibly warped, sketchy, wiggly lines sort of situation for a whole big chunk of it. And then total chaos. It's awesome. And all the different eyes on his face, so weird. Okay, so this portion where we jump from here to these multicolored, super layered, sometimes they're super sketchy, sometimes they're super detailed. Like, what the fuck? It's all hands. It feels so much more chaotic than the previous OP. And then the mouths and eyes, it's like we're constructing a person or face out of different people. I don't know. And then a big crowd observing, which makes me lean in that sort of there might be a cult sort of thing direction. This crazy thing. Construct of bones? Shells? Wild. Let's go check Sakugaburu just for a sec. I think one of the reasons we should do this is to get an idea of names. Any names that are on this season. Okay, it looks like we are mostly artist unknown with a couple of familiar people. I see a Koki Fujimoto. Let's grab the top row. Bam, 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 bam. This is unknown for this exorcism scene. Cool. This is unknown and Kanako Awata. Awata for the second to last cut. Running away. Oh, this is for the glue. Mio Sato. So glad Sato is back in this season. Oh, is that the big and the swirly lines and stuff? It totally is. Is that paint on glass? Is that what that is? It looks like it, but a lot of them are from this season, so I'm not gonna click. That's cool. Okay, Toshiyuki Sato, different Sato. Oh, totally. Oh, totally, right? Pew 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 pew. Totally. Okay. Good to get these things in my brain because they're like some of them are recognizable, but then yeah. Oh, this scene was really cool, wasn't it? This is Hayate Nakamura with all the numbers flying by and then the big leap and then it sort of warps into this sort of cutesy vibe. That's cool. And then Koki Fujimoto. We watched saw 2 episodes that were like totally storyboarded and key animated by Koki Fujimoto recently. That was crazy. There was a Jujutsu Kaisen episode and a Free Run episode, and they're like crazy. So all this crazy effects animation and stuff, and all these flying things and these crazy smears and the cool pew pew ting 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 effects. It's all Fujimoto being a badass. Let's go. Such a stellar start to the season. Look at those effects. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think that's a good place to leave off. What a start to a season. We've got... While Mob may not know where he's going, we know where we're going with the show. We are laser focused on his deciding. Who do you want to be, Mob? What do you want to strive toward? What are you going to set for yourself as the person you want to become and the kind of thing you want to do with your life? And does that fit what everybody else thinks is normal? Or do you have to come up with your own path? How are you going to decide it? And how will you lean upon the community that you've built and the identity that you've forged to find out what's right for you as you take each step forward into the future? And then what can we as an audience learn from going on this journey with him? Tight, 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 laser focused, beautiful, fun to watch, silly, goofy, and sincere. Under all the layers of silliness, under all the goofiness, is a deep sincerity and a care for human beings, for the way that we live our lives, for the choices that we make, and for the struggles that we have to come up against. All of us. And as a human being, talking to other human beings across time and space through this magical technology that we have that lets us connect, I can connect to this piece of media as well and learn from it and grow from it and share that experience with all of you. And I can't think of anything else that I'd rather be doing on my Tuesdays for a little bit. So thank you so much for watching this week's first episode of Mob Psycho 100 Season 3. If you'd like the next episode, it will be early on the Patreon, the same day that this one goes up on the YouTube. Otherwise, I'll see you right here on the YouTube, and I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, comment, all those things, and we'll get further into Mob Psycho next week. Thanks so much for watching. Much love. Peace.